It's not a lot of fun. I like to say it was quiet when I got there about 3 years ago, but it's not been a lot of fun. Partly because a lot of people had no idea what a credit rating agency was and what role we play in the capital markets, and a lot of media, quite frankly, didn't understand who or what we were either. In fact, I can recall begging the Wall Street Journal to cover structured finance at Standard & Poor's and being told, well, nobody's interested in that. And just 6 months later, it became a major topic. And unfortunately, because they hadn't been covering it for years, they really didn't have a whole lot of people who knew what they were talking about. And that was at the Wall Street Journal. Now, if you start going out to the general business press, the lack of understanding of structured finance, which is complicated, has led to a lot of misconceptions about both what was going on within structured finance and the broader financial markets. And part of my job has been to try to help people understand that. But we're in the midst of this enormous panic, and people are looking for someone to blame. The media certainly loved the idea that there was a big black box called a credit rating agency that they didn't understand, but it made a lot of money, so that can't be good. And, when people start pointing fingers, we're an easy constituent, or I should say, we're easy to point fingers at because we don't really have much of a constituency. There isn't anybody out there who's saying, oh my God, don't leave those poor people alone. When in fact, we have a fairly compelling story to tell. And we have worked hard to get people to understand what our role is, how we do what we do. We've acknowledged where we've been insufficient in terms of our assumptions about a housing decline. We projected a 10 to 15% housing decline and priced that into or factored that into our ratings. No one predicted a 40% decline, a 50% decline in some areas, and frankly our ratings are doing exactly what they're supposed to do when they're put under that kind of stress. Not a story people really want to hear. And, and there's a lot of discussion about our business model and, are we conflicted? We've acknowledged that there are potential conflicts in any business model. Anytime money changes hands, there's the potential for a conflict. That's as equally as true in an investor pays model as in an issuer pays model. Personally, for me, it's been interesting. I didn't have a lot of myself invested in Standard & Poor's. I've only been there for 3 years, so I didn't feel like it was a personal attack. I think that's been helpful in being somewhat dispassionate and dealing with the reporters. Certainly, I've been on a hockey stick learning curve, and I think I can hold my own with most analysts in terms of a discussion of some of these instruments. But in the end, the media are looking for someone to blame, and and we have been a really, really fat target for them. And I don't suspect that that's going to go away until some legislative solution is introduced into the process.